at age 9, I was given as a present to an American billionaire who was visiting Belgium at the time because of the Bilderberg meeting that was held in Belgium in 1972. So I was 9 years old then, and I was given as a present. And for this person, so we had the Belgian group, you can say. There were extreme sadists in this group, especially among the nobility, and some of them did everything that the crazy psychopaths and the horror stories that we come across, they did everything and more because they did it with children. And I think when we watch whatever it is, horror movies, or a lot of movies have elements of this network, it's not only a blackmail system, it goes farther than that. There's a belief system attached to it. And then when that belief, that religious belief, which is basically satanic, it goes further in, what is done then, what is done in those circles. And that's what happened when I was 9, when I was used in a ritual that was to please this American. And then that American ended up, taking an interest in me, and then was setting out to turn me into his personal slave. And that led to my being flown on his private jet to the United States some months later, and basically spent time with him in his homes, but also in other places, so he could really find out what he could do with me. Clearly, he'd also found out about my father's bloodline, which I personally was not aware of. My mother had me alone. So he found out about my bloodline, which I think was the first thing, that if I had not been of a family that had noble roots, even though it was centuries ago, then I wouldn't have been put in this position of being an elite slave. What he was doing was seeing what my talents were and how he could then use them to create a persona, and I spent time with him thinking that I found a sort of a father by somebody who was interested in me and showing me, reflecting things in me that no one had ever seen. I ended up in Germany in a particular mind control facility to be trained to become that elite slave, which was a persona that was created through torture-based mind control by a doctor who had Nazi roots and was a German doctor who was also known for his work on eugenics. Basically was extremely directed, extremely scientifically researched, obviously, or experimented on before, but I was not an experiment. I was being trained. I was being changed. I was being changed into that persona. I didn't recognize myself after. I was being made into an elite slave so that I could be with very powerful men, just as I had touched him originally. He being a powerful man, he was going to then replicate this and have me do that with all men, but only so that he could then obtain more power and control over these men so that I would come back and report to him. I thought that I was going to be killed.